Rivers got on live, and you better believe the next time that the Indiana Fever faced the Connecticut Sun, like, I just want to see, has this really even been covered on YouTube? ESPN posted it 7 hours ago. ESPN posted it. ESPN took clips of it live and posted it in full on their one, which is...
Shia Rivers just called out Sophie Cunningham, and right beside her, like a VIP at the Petty Olympics, stood Marina Mabrey. This isn't just sideline drama, it's full court tension you can feel. Why Sophie? Why now? And is Marina just tagging along or playing puppet master behind the scenes? The WNBA just got messier. Stay tuned.
So evil.
Damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Marina Mabrey, damned if I do. Did she just say damned if I do, damned if I don't? She just knocked someone on their ass for no reason from behind. She freaking Marcus Morris them. Well, no, sorry, Nikola Jokic on Marcus Morris.
If I do, damned if I don't.
I hate that one up.
Like, it's just basketball, man. Y'all love that shit in the NBA though. It'd be cool when the dudes do it.
People were calling for Jokic got a suspension for doing what Marina...
If you watched that clip and still think JCS Sheldon was going for the basket, it might be time for a refresher in Basketball 101, and maybe a crash course in common sense. That wasn't a shot attempt. It was a shoulder-first missile straight at Sophie Cunningham's chest. Let's call it what it was. Contact, not competition.
About this is crazy. This is Shia Rivers and Marina Mabrey going on TikTok after that Connecticut Sun game and lying. And this is an example. I want to go through some things with this because this is an example to me of what an absolute unprofessional cesspool the WNBA is. I know you all know that, but I still think it's important to talk about this because history gets rewritten all of the time. I just saw somebody talking about now that with the Cheryl Reeves stuff, if you saw my video, people talking about how Caitlin Clark was not playing well at the time of the selection and on. And that, again, revisionist history. I did a deep dive at the time, playing as well or better than any guard in the league.
The ball was just a prop, an afterthought in a scene fueled by pure retaliation. It had as much purpose as a napkin in a hurricane. Sheldon wasn't chasing points, she was hunting ribs. And the fact that some folks are defending it as just part of the game. That's the punchline. What game? The surprise WWE crossover episode no one signed up for.
First of all, there was a practice. They did their media during the practice. They pulled Sophie Cunningham aside, and of course they asked her about the JC Sheldon incident, and she stood on business. She said, this has been going on for a couple years now. Mind you, she was on the Phoenix Mercury last season, but she had mentioned that this had been going on for a couple years now with Caitlin Clark, and she was basically sending a message.
Sheldon might as well have strapped on a helmet and signaled a blitz. That wasn't a drive to the hoop. It was a full-on charge. And Sophie was the red in her bullseye. No finesse, no form, no glance at the rim. Just pure, targeted aggression. Like she was settling an old score from some forgotten AAU grudge match.
I think 500,000 followers and such, and your jersey selling out. How cool is that for your...
Yeah, you know, it's cool. It's funny what kind of people are attracted to. You know, I'm just trying to keep the main thing. The main thing is that's basketball, trying to win games, sticking up for my teammates. And that's all part of it. I think all that stuff it's fun and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we need to win some basketball games. I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. You know, I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, you know, the star players.
Somehow Sophie's getting blamed like she started it, just for standing still and bracing for impact. That wasn't a flop. It was physics. She got hit like a parked car, and now she's the meme. Meanwhile, Shia Rivers is side-eyeing the whole thing like she's narrating it telepathically, and Marina Mabrey's chilling nearby like the chaos is background music. Sheldon didn't make a basketball play. She made a point. No finesse, no shot attempt. Just a shoulder-first statement. People can slow it down all they want. It wasn't defense. It was delivery. Direct, loud, and absolutely personal.
They went and got Sophie Cunningham, 6-year-old black belt. This is what the Bulls did with Charles Oakley to protect Michael Jordan. Watch the retaliation. later by Sophie Cunningham. And again, this is inappropriate, right? No, it's what happens in basketball.
If the Indiana Fever fans keep voting the way that they are, could they get Sophie Cunningham to an All-Star game? The Indiana Fever have 4 players in the top 10 of WNBA All-Star voting right now. So could we see 5? However, that top 10 is missing someone, and I think you guys are about to snub Angel Reese from an All-Star game, which is crazy.
The goalpost didn't just move, they changed sports. Sure, Sophie's known for scrappy play, but there's a big difference between physical basketball and getting steamrolled. This wasn't a tangle in the paint, it was a kit job with a free throw getaway. And yet, here comes the tired narrative. Blame Sophie, like the parked car caused a crash. Meanwhile, Sania Rivers enters the scene with more presence than a season finale. No yelling, no theatrics, just precision. Her look said it all. We all saw that. Don't act like it didn't happen. And honestly, she's not wrong.
He noticed, and I think a lot of people noticed, is when Caitlin would get bullied, nobody would do nothing.
That's right.
Nobody would do nothing. It was like, hey, they didn't know, like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe people are doing this to Caitlin Clark. Teammates weren't jumping in there. They bring in Sophie Cunningham. I had no idea. Sophie Cunningham was a black belt at the age of 6.
The goalposts haven't just moved. They've switched sports. Yes, Sophie's got a reputation. She plays tough, elbows, stare downs, all of it. But this wasn't that. This wasn't 2 players fighting for position. This was a hit, plain and simple, and the free throw afterward felt like a getaway car. Naturally, the internet leaps to the classic excuse. She must have provoked it. That's blaming the parked car for the crash. Then Sania Rivers walks into frame like it's scripted. No yelling, no theatrics. Just timing and truth. Her expression says everything. We saw it. Stop pretending we didn't. Because we did. And calling it anything but what it was doesn't make it less obvious.
There, and I'm thinking to myself, is anybody on this team gonna stand up for Caitlin Clark? JC Sheldon grabbing Caitlin Clark all game, clawing at her. It's like tonight was a brawl, folks. Tonight was a brawl, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, is anybody on this team going to stand up for? And Sophie Cunningham.
Marina stayed cool as ever, neutral like a diplomat. But don't think for a second she missed a thing. When Sheldon lit that drama spark with her shoulder, Marina was right there, soaking it in, silently thinking, I saw all of it, and I'm not saying a word. Let's cut the act. If Sophie had thrown that hit, the outrage would have been nuclear. But because it was Sheldon, it's labeled grit. That wasn't grit. It was a hit job dressed like defense. Now we've got a league where shoulders are weapons, accountability is blurry, and everyone's pretending the rules just changed mid-game. Good thing Rivers, Marina, and the chaos came ready, because when the refs miss it and fans twist it, someone's got to call it what it is. A cheat shot with a scoreboard excuse.
That set off the entire night. So as you guys can see here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bad out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark.
Ain't gonna repeat, man. That clip where she grabbed the girl and threw her down, foul. It's a hard basketball foul, probably over the top. Of course it is, but why would it not be given the circumstances? But once she did the clinch, man, MMA fans, UFC, grappling, Muay Thai, like we all know, once you seen that clinch, it was like, okay, she just ain't no regular fucking person. She knows something. She got some skills, and I guess she has like a black belt in Taekwondo or some shit like that, which is wild. And apparently she was the kicker on a high school football team. I mean, I've been going to the fucking lore of what is Sophie Cunningham. I'm like, god damn. This is what they mean when they talking about they like snow bunnies. Like this.